Now, Tony, I'm going to put you right here. So Rose, I'm going to put you in this bar chair, okay?
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Close the door here.
That's fine.
I'm used to being in the other office, so it's nice to have sunlight coming in.
I was telling your secretary, I had a lot to do with this hospital.
Did you?
You know, Board of Directors and Monroeville, Dapper Inn, back in the 60s. They were closing Columbia Hospital, and they were talking about buying land to put the hospital. We gave them the first $10,000.
Well, there you go. Wow. That is a... Well, thank you. Gives me a place to work, I guess. Thanks.
Yeah, her brother was president of PNB at that time, Monroeville, and we had our meetings at PNB. When they got word that they were looking for money, we started having, what do you call them, different things go on.
Fundraisers and the like?
Fundraisers. And you made a motion, I seconded it.
There you go. Well, Tony and Rose, my name is John, okay? Last name is Greenway if you care. But basically I'm a hearing instrument specialist, and as far as I understand it today, it sounds like that what I'm going to try to do for you is to figure out what we can do to help you to hear better with those current hearing aids, okay?
I have one in my pocket. I think we're one.
Well, and we're going to talk about that, but one of the things that I want to stress to you today, Tony, and Rose, is going to be good education for all of us, really, is the importance of maintaining our hearing. I mean, obviously it's important. We want to be able to hear. It makes life a little more comfortable. It improves our quality of life, so forth and so on, and that's all very important. But what a lot of people do not recognize is how insidious and how invasive hearing loss can be in our lives long term. I come to you, I've been here at Hearing Unlimited, all of about 5-6 months, okay, but prior to being here, I worked out in the Lancaster area as a regional director for a different company out there. And for me, the most important thing about what I do is providing an education to my patients. I want my patients to understand their hearing loss, so that they can make the best decisions for themselves on how to take care of that hearing loss, okay? And hopefully today, as we go through a little bit of my presentation for you, that you'll get that understanding, that you'll recognize the importance beyond just overcoming the annoyance of saying huh and what a lot.
I don't say much of that.
Yeah, we don't want you to say much of that if we can avoid it. Now, the nice thing is Hearing Unlimited is designed to allow me to do that very well. Hearing Unlimited has been around since 1949. We've got a very, very long track record in the area. And part of the reason for that is we are not a corporation. We are locally owned. It's owned by an audiologist, which means a couple of things. One, there isn't a businessman making decisions for us, and two, because it's an audiologist, he gets it. He understands that the idea here is to help you to hear better. And so we kind of keep our focus on the medical model of things. We want to focus on the medicinal side of what hearing aids can do. Again, that means that we're going to do our best to educate, but we're also going to do our best to treat the hearing loss. And as such, just last year, we were able to help a little over 100,000 people to hear better, and that's pretty good. And we're really excited.
Most of my tests at the VA in Oakland.
Okay.
I got my hearing aids.
Right. Now, and as we started talking, I was going to say, obviously you were in the service because you went to the VA. What branch of service were you in?
Army.
Okay. What'd you do? Everything?
Well, I was a tank gunner.
Well, there you go.
M47.
M47.
Tight quarters.
Yeah. Big booms.
90 millimeters.
Yeah.
Tank weighed 40 tons. When I was young, I was 20 years old, I used to roll in that sucker and slide down the hatch.
Mm-hmm.
But it's shiny white. It's whiter than whitest paint you can get. There's two lights. One where the loader is, and a gunner, and tank commander has his little deep look.
Yeah. Yeah, in the previous lifetime, I worked on, I worked on museum artifacts, and the company I worked for did kind of random not what you normally expect to see in museums, but we took apart and put back together an old World War I tank, and we did a lot of work on a Sherman.
Well, this tank here had a V12 air-cooled engine. The engine weighed 6 tons.
It's a big engine.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
And the muffler was that round, so that when you fired that sucker, it would go, ooh.
Well, I mean, it's needless to say, we can probably understand where the hearing loss likely originated. Okay, and you know, and the fact that you currently have hearing aids is a very, very positive step in the right direction. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, it states that you recognize that my hearing is important, and you recognize that there's a hearing loss. You
See, when we're in there, they never give me no plugs or nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, you ever hear a 90 go off?
I haven't heard a 90 go off, but I've been standing next to a 30 when it went off.
30 caliber machine gun?
No, 30 millimeter.
Yeah.
That's not nearly as bad, but I can only fathom.
One day I put my head out of the hatch and kind of tank myself, keep down in. I just had what's called a lighter. That guy fired that sucker, and my head blew right off.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's a bad it is.
So basically, what we're going to look at today is I need to understand a little bit about why you come to me today. Okay, obviously you've gone to the VA, you got the hearing aids, but it sounds like we're having some struggles with how things are working. So let's first talk about that. What is it that made you come in today? What's going on?
I got a letter.
Okay, got a letter.
Where's it at, room?
In my purse.
Okay. Now, I'm going to be honest, and I don't mean to be too terribly facetious about this, but most people I know don't get the letter and think to themselves, ooh, this sounds exciting, I'm going to go do this today. Okay, so what?
They're going to clean my ears out.
Okay.
Here.
Gotcha, yep.
It's in there.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
He's been getting lightheaded, and
okay.
sometimes I told him it could be like you have, water in your ears.
Wax.
Well, a lot of wax, and probably ears need flushed out.
Okay.
Sometimes it isn't all your medicines.
Right,
They make you dead.
On my last
in your
assignment,
ears.
I don't know if you're familiar, back in the 50s, Russia was in, down there in Cuba, and I was heading for Korea, and actually I had an emergency crew. 300 of us, and put us on guns. 90s, they sent me in blind office right in the middle of the prison farm. 4 quads, 4 guns, and a quad 50 caliber machine gun, knock planes out of the sky. And it's true.
Yeah.
Now it's not nothing there now, but
Yeah. No. So I guess to clarify, we got the letter, and you feel like, gosh, I may be a little plugged up, so I want to come in and check that out. Okay. Now, how are the hearing aids working for you? Are you hearing well when they're both in and we're both working, or
fair? But
fair?
This one here, I keep taking out and try to clean the
Okay.
stuff up. But I always get like an inch once in a while, and I put my...
If I'm looking down and writing, it's not because I'm ignoring you. Okay.
You gotta look where you're doing.
Yeah, 'cause he can't stand a lot of noise.
Oh,
Like
okay.
if the kids
Right.
come
Okay.
and scream and, oh, man.
Now, with the hearing aids, what do you notice are the struggles with the hearing aids? The background noise is
Yeah.
one of them, okay?
I hear it pretty good in the background. It seems like it draws more.
Okay. Where else do you find that you struggle? Not having tested you, I'm not 100% sure what your hearing loss is yet, but we're going to do that. But where else do you find that you struggle? In a quiet environment, I would assume you feel like you do pretty well. Is that correct? Okay.
I don't hang around a lot of people. If you want to find me in my shed.
Okay. Now, Rose, I'm going to rely on you a little bit here too. Okay. When he's at home, when he's at home and it's just you two, and he's wearing the hearing aids, does he do pretty well hearing and understanding you?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. All right.
Unless, if I talk too loud or something.
Okay,
then
okay.
don't
Now,
tell me.
with the hearing aids, are you wearing them consistently?
About, the one I wear about 15 hours a day.
Okay, so the one is in pretty much all day, every day. The other we take out on, okay, okay. Now, is that just because of the loudness, or is there a comfort issue, or you don't feel like the one does anything?
I don't know, it's hard for me to explain to you. Just put one in, that's about it.
Okay. And that's the right one that you put in?
Right here.
Okay.
Now, if I take this out of here, I can't hear TV at all.
Right,
Just
right.
a low, like,
Yeah.
Okay. But the other rarely goes in, is that correct?
that's right.
Okay.
But I don't sit around and look stupid.
No, no, I wouldn't.
I invented a device, and she don't like to talk about it. I made a device that produces electricity out of air. It's 20 by 20 by 16. I'll give you 140 amps in 7 seconds.
Wow. So you're a bit of an inventor?
No, just common sense. In 1953, when I was in service as a gunner,
Mm-hmm.
every time I filled that tank up, that big turbo was blowing that air in my face, I knew I had something.
Yeah.
Let it ride.
All right.
In fact, I'm gonna try, I have a 4-man spanel and I know, I was going down, what do they call it? They give me them letters. But some guy in, Israel wants to buy it off me. So when I gave him the price, he hung up on me. Then he called me back, said, when can we close? I said, well, you give me $1 million after taxes and 10% rolling worldwide, you got it. So, boy, now I gotta send him a letter, tell him exactly what I want. And if you don't have it, I'll give me $500,000 and give me the rest when he gets his people.
Okay. If you can do it, I don't have any argument. So, Tony, what we're going to do today is, and I appreciate you sharing with me all of this information. What we're going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and I still need to test you because I need to know what your baseline is. Okay. And in the process, I'm going to take a look in your ear. I'm going to take a look at the hearing aids, make sure they're clean, they're doing their thing. Okay. But one of the things that, like I said at the very beginning, that I think is really important is that I kind of teach in the process of doing everything. So I'm going to explain the test to you. I want you to understand what your hearing loss is when we're all said and done. Okay. It's obvious that you've got one because you've got the hearing aids. Now we just got to figure out how the best way to handle it is. Okay. And so I'm going to teach you about the test, and then we're going to look at the results. Depending on how the results pan out, I may want to expand the tests a little bit just to do some comparative analysis and to determine whether or not we can do better for you. And that's the important thing. Is the key here is we need to help you to hear because of all of the long-term consequences that can come as a result of hearing loss. So I'll let you know right off the bat, I'm concerned that you're only wearing one and you've been given two. That's a concern for me. We got to figure out why that is, okay? A lot of times it's just comfort. Sometimes it's just outright laziness, okay?
Maybe lazy.
Okay, and that's okay. But what we got to do is we got to break that habit. We've got to get you wearing both so that you can comfortably understand and interact with the world around you, okay? And it's not so much just to overcome the huhs and whats, okay? There's a lot more to it, and we're going to talk about that in just a second, okay? So first things first, let me take a quick peek in your ear, okay? And see what's going on there.
Want me to stand up or?
That sun, I tell you what, I'm not used to being in an office with a window in it.
Yeah.
All right, that ear looks stellar. Okay, let me slide around to you. I'll block the sun for you. How about that? And that ear just looks just as good. Okay. All right, so let me see real quick that other hearing aid and the one you got on.
I put it in my pocket.
That's all right.
Good deal.
Okay.
I'm a non-drinker, non-smoker. I don't believe when I hear the sea trouble, I don't want to see it. She goes with me about 99% of the time, anywhere I go. I take her with me.
gonna just do a quick
See
little...
this thing right here?
Mm-hmm.
So let's sell us one, I'll give you 220 volts in 3 seconds.
It's not bad.
It's that size, little shoebox.
I'd ask you how it does it, but it's probably over my head. No? Common sense, huh?
Whole damn trouble, my age is knocking the hell out of me. Over 82 now. Cold weather knocks the hell out of me. I can't go out in the garage, it's cold.
Yeah, it's getting warm. Maybe the weather will be starting to get really nice. With
This
it.
thing that I made, we're on your house right now. It's 140 amps, but our house is 100 amps. I run it 24/7.
Huh. That's amazing. All right.
Huh?
I said, when you clean yours, you know.
He has everything.
All right. I'm just going to put 2 new batteries in it, okay? New battery in this guy. All right, so basically what you need to know right off the bat is both ears look really good, okay? And we just need to figure out what the hearing loss is. Looking at the hearing aids, the left one was a little bit on the dirty side. Cleaned it out, no problem, okay?
This one feels like heavy in there.
Feels heavy, okay? Meaning it feels kind of like you're...
It's hard to hear in this.
Maybe you have a lot of.
I'm gonna put both of them in,
Maybe you've got a
okay?
lot of wax on. Maybe.
No, his ears are both very clear.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. So there we go.
You're very loud now.
I'm very loud.
I can
I'm
hear
gonna-
echo in the,
I'm going to tone it down a little bit for us. Okay. All right. So let me give you that back.
here's the battery.
Oh, just go ahead and give me that one. I put 2 new ones in. All right. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to do next, and that is we're going to test. Okay.
That's the term.
Now, when I put you in the booth here in just a second.
I was in a couple of them.
Yeah, we're going to do it again because I have to have a good test result for us, okay? Now, when I do put you in the booth, I want you to understand what I'm looking for. There's 2 things I'm ultimately looking for. The first is what you can hear. The second is how you hear it. In other words, there's a huge difference between hearing and understanding, okay? And we need to be able to understand both.
Right.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at what you can hear, which is the volume right here that you need to hear specific frequencies. Okay. Now, all you need to know is that sound is made up of various frequencies. Okay. We generally break up those frequencies into more or less two subcategories: low frequencies and high frequencies. Okay. For you, the dividing line between the two is right there. Okay. So your low frequencies are here, and your high frequencies over here. Now, let's talk about which does what. Okay, so let's talk about the low frequencies first. Your low frequencies make up roughly 30% of spoken language. They're the foundational tones. They're the core of the word. They give the strength. They give the power. They're the vowel sounds. Okay, so your low frequencies give the sensation of volume or the core of the word, which is the A, the E, the I, the O, and the U. So think power of speech. Okay?
See, now you talk to me, it sounds like you're screaming.
And I'm going to talk real quiet. So that could be.
I'm just telling you what I'm hearing.
Yeah, no, and that's very good, and that's giving me some clues as to what's going on with us here. Okay? Your high frequencies, they're much more important. I mean, they're both important, but the high frequencies make up 70% of spoken language. And they give the detail to sound. They give the clarity to speech. Think your consonant sounds. So the S, SH, T, K, V, B, P, etc. Okay? So think the clarity of speech. Now, what I like to do is give an example of what I mean by all that. If I were to give you an oi sound, that's a very strong sound. I can make that carry. I can put a lot of power behind oi. Now, if I put a little bit of sound in front of that, like a s sound, now it has meaning. Soy. Okay? If I change that s sound slightly to a t sound, now it's changed the word dramatically. Instead of soy, it's toy. And if I use those two words interchangeably in the same sentence, it can dramatically change the meaning of the sentence. So you can see why it's so important that we can hear both the lows and the high frequencies.
You know what I do mostly? Read people's lips.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm going to be the first to tell you that, hey, reading lips is a good skill set to have. But what I'm going to explain in just a second is that we don't want to rely fully upon our eyes to hear. We need to allow the ears to do their job so that we can maintain the health of that system. We're going to explain that. And it all comes down to how well we can hear those sounds. Basically what I'll do is in order to determine how well you hear those various frequencies, I'm going to put you in the booth, isolate you so that we can make sure that you're hearing what we need you to hear, and we're going to present to you frequency-specific sounds. Now, just as you've experienced, they start out louder, get softer and softer and softer. What I'm looking for is the point at which you go from you can barely hear it to you can't hear it. That's called your threshold. And we measure the volume of those thresholds in decibels. All you got to know about that is that the lower the number of decibels, the quieter the sound, the higher the number, the louder the sound. Now, when we measure those thresholds, when we look at volume, the first thing we have to recognize is that 0 doesn't mean no volume. It doesn't mean the lack of volume. It actually means normal on this scale. Anything above 0 on this chart represents better than average hearing. Anything below 0 represents a hearing loss. Now, just as you can see here, anything from 0 decibels to 20 decibels is considered okay. Okay? It basically means that your hearing loss is medically acceptable. While you have a hearing loss, it's not significant enough to impede your ability to understand the world around you. Now, if it drops below that, then obviously the opposite is true, and we enter that needs help now type situation. And I'm going to talk about that in just a second. If it exceeds 85 decibels, then we get into an area that's more questionable. It's not that we can't help, it just becomes harder to do so, okay? So why is it a needs help now? That goes to the anatomy of the issue, okay? And this is where most people don't recognize the implications of their hearing loss. Now, I am a visual learner, which means I like to use visual aids, okay? So basically what we want to do here is I want to teach you really quick what's going on inside your ear, why it is you can't hear, okay? The interesting thing is the first thing we have to recognize is that the ear doesn't hear. The brain hears. The ear is just the mechanism that gets that information to the brain for processing, okay? Now, the reason you can't hear, Tony, is because this guy right here, it's called the cochlea, isn't working properly. The cochlea is the sensitivity center to the ear. And the likelihood is due to your being around those bangs and booms, that cochlea sustained some damage. And as you aged, that damage got worse and worse, okay? Well, the important thing here is that you're getting the help you need. You've got the hearing aid, and the hearing aid kind of helps the cochlea to do its job. The problem here is simply this. In order for the information to get to the brain, obviously we've got to get the cochlea to do its job. But in order to get the cochlea to do its job, we also have to get the nerve to do its job. And the nerve transmits that information to the brain. Now here's the key. If that nerve doesn't work, the brain doesn't get the information no matter what we do to the cochlea, okay? And so it's important that we keep that nerve working. In addition to that, if the nerve doesn't get the information to the brain, the auditory cortex, or the Wernicke's area of the brain, doesn't receive the stimulation it needs, and it too begins to die, okay? So because of the hearing loss, a a chain reaction begins. Because these hair cells, because the cochlea isn't doing what it needs to do, it's not helping the nerve to stay busy. When the nerve doesn't stay busy, it begins to atrophy. It suffers from something called auditory deprivation. When that auditory deprivation takes hold, the nerve dies, and there's nothing I can do to get that nerve to come back. And if the nerve dies, the brain doesn't get the information it needs, and it too begins to atrophy. And so it's vitally important that we maintain the cochlea so that it sends its information and does its job the way it's supposed to. That's why it's important that we get you in both earrings, okay? We need both ears to work well for us. And so basically what I'm looking at here is we need to make sure we're doing as best as we can to treat the hearing loss so that long term we don't suffer from that auditory deprivation. Now on top of that, this is where things get a little bit more scary. We can now link hearing loss to more severe neurological disorders such as Alzheimer's, dementia. Those with untreated hearing loss have a tendency to have an earlier onset of those types of neurological disorders. We now can link hearing loss to cardiovascular disease. We can see that there's a lot that hearing loss can ultimately lead to. That is why it is a needs help now type situation. Okay? It is very important that we take care of the hearing loss. So first off, I'm glad that you were able to go to the VA and get the hearing aids. Now what we've got to do is figure out, are those hearing aids the best thing for you? And if they are, what can we do to get them working so that you're wearing both and that you're comfortable with them? Okay? So what I need to do first is test you. Okay?
No problem.
Any questions with what I've said so far? Any concerns? Anything that you've learned that you didn't know before?
No.
Okay, this is all pretty much review for us?
Yeah.
Good, good. All right, so Tony, come on over here, okay?
What these in?
I want you to take them out for me, okay? Go ahead and just leave them right here.
Now the game's cutting down.
Oh.
Here we are, we're gone.
All right, Tony, I want you to go ahead and have a seat, okay? I'm going to get you all set up, and then just bear with me as I get set up, okay? All right, so here we go.
See this room? There's so much room I had in it.
Having been in a Sherman, I can only imagine. All right, that's your button, so just hold on to that. I'll be right with you. All right, now, Rose, I'm going to have you come sit next to me, okay?
Okay.
All right, so come on over here.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, we'll just move this guy right over here for you. Okay? Have a seat. We'll get him all set up here. One second. Just gotta get this moved over here. There we go. All right. Excuse me. Okay, Tony. Now I'm talking to you through your headset. Now, is that a comfortable volume for you? If I were the TV or radio, would you turn me up, turn me down, or am I just right for you? About right. Good, good. Okay. So I'm going to quickly explain what Rose is seeing here on the screen. Okay, so basically, Rose, what you see here is exactly what I explained over there. This is that audiogram. Okay. So his low frequencies are on this side of the chart. His high frequencies on this side of the chart. Okay. Now, because Tony, you said both ears were about the same. Okay. Okay, in your testing, one was weaker than the other. Do you remember which ear was weaker? You thought it was the right ear. Okay, so I'm going to start with the left ear. And when I test the left ear, what's going to happen? I'm going to present a series of tones to you. They're going to start out louder, get softer and softer. Okay. Anytime you hear the tone, it's going to sound like a beep, beep, beep. Any decibel mark, that's a hearing loss. Now, it shouldn't be a surprise that he's got a hearing loss because he's already got hearing aids. Okay. But I need to see how well he's doing. Okay. So here we go. Go ahead and just hit that button when you hear the tone. hear me pretty well, is that correct? Okay, great. Now, what's going to happen now is that I need to figure out how well they're together, okay? Now, Rose, as you're looking at this, okay, what you're going to see there is you're going to see a word pop up on the screen. That's the word the computer is reading to tell me, okay? Okay. All right, from a volume standpoint, was that comfortable for you? A little on the loud side? Okay, I'm going to take it down one and give it to you. Just hang tight. I'm going to go ahead and go get you the results here in just a second, and I'll come out and get you in just a second, okay? Okay. So he does have a significant hearing loss. In addition to that, he has a significant word recognition problem. I'm going to teach you about that in just a second. But it's important that we get him the help that we can. Okay? It's important that he recognize the importance of being able to hear better. Okay? Go ahead and have a seat where you were, okay? Let me go get his results, and then go from there. All right, there you go. Okay? You with me?
Yeah, fine.
I hope you did. What's up? Good. All right, how are you? It's over. Okay. More fun than you ought to have, right? All right, come on out. Go ahead and have a seat where you were. Now I want you to put both those hearing aids back in, okay?
How come she didn't put these in there for that hearing?
If we need to test her, let's test her. We can set up an appointment to do that, no problem. All right, now. My next statement shouldn't come as too much of a surprise, but you do have a significant hearing loss, okay? But what I want to do is I want to kind of explain that loss, okay, so that you have some context and a way to understand the hearing loss. I need you to be able to quantify it. I need you to make it real, okay? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and transfer this information over to here, okay? Here's the dividing line between your lows and highs. So lows, highs, okay? Remember that the lows give the power to sound, so that's the vowels, A, E, I, O, U, etc. So the power of speech, okay? Your high frequencies give the clarity of sound, that's the S, SH, T, V, B, P, etc., okay? So that's the clarity of speech. Okay. Now let's talk about severity. Okay, it's important that we understand the hearing loss. 0, remember, represents normal. Up to 20 decibels represents that medically acceptable range of hearing loss. Anything below that represents that area we call the needs help now. Okay? Now, the good news is you've gotten help. You went to the VA, you got some hearing aids put in. The question is are those hearing aids doing what they need to do for you? Okay? My concern is perhaps not. And partially, that is your fault. And partially, that may just be the selection of hearing aid for you. But what it comes down to is we need to understand how the information is getting to the brain. And this is what I can see. When I look at the right ear, that's your dominant ear. That's the ear that's doing better in your game. Now, some people are a little bit discouraged by that number. The bonus is there's a strong possibility we can keep it there. We don't want to get it worse, because what that's telling me is we're missing 33% of what's coming to you. So no matter what we do, that right ear is going to miss about 33%. But I want you to look at the left ear. The left ear is only getting 53% wearing that hearing aid. And so the hearing loss is damaging that nerve that we talked about. And the more we go without treating it, the more it's going to get damaged. And so we've lost up to almost 50% of what you're able to hear. When we put both ears together, that's the magic number. You're going to get about 67% of what comes to you. But we need to keep it there. Okay? We don't want it to get worse, which means we have to treat it appropriately. Now, again, I want to put things into context for you. That 67% comes at a significantly louder volume than what is considered normal. If I had normal hearing loss or a normal hearing, I hear speech very comfortably at 35 decibels. In order to get you 67% at a comfortable level, I had to turn that volume up to 85 decibels. Okay? That's more than double the volume required. That's why you need the hearing aids, but that's also why we need to treat it appropriately. So first off, any questions about that?
No, really.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. I wish I knew I had something to do for you for that. We're going to try to help you out here. Now, Tony, what I want to do is I want to do another quick test. And this is where Rose gets to play along a little bit, okay? I'm going to use Rose's voice as a test. This test let me know exactly what the ears are capable of, but I want to see how well you do in a normal, real-world situation, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to do what's called a live voice test. I'm going to put you at about 6 to 8 feet from Rose, and I'm going to sit next to her, and I'm going to basically give her a list of words to read to you, very similar to what we did in the book. Right. And what I want to do is I want to determine how well you can understand her with your current hearing aids, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a different pair of hearing aids in. I'm going to set it up a little bit differently than what you have set up. And then we're going to test it. We're going to basically do a comparative analysis, okay? So, Tony, you come sit in my chair, okay? Right about there will do. Rose, you're right. You're fine where you're at, okay?
Where I'm at, okay.
All right. And I'm going to come over here and sit next to you. Now,
Okay.
there are some rules to this test. The first rule is the first time she gives the word to you, I'm going to cover her face like this. So I'm cutting off the lip reading, okay? I want to see how your ears manage. And then I'm going to put the board down. And you're going to repeat the word if he gets it wrong, okay? So you just follow my lead and just give him the word in a nice, normal, conversational tone, okay? So we're going to start with this list. Just start with the first word.
Elf.
Elf.
Close. Give it again.
Elf.
Else.
Else. Good.
Corpse.
Corpse.
Give it again.
Corpse.
Corpse.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing what that lip reading can do, isn't it?
Carb.
Carb.
Get it one more time.
Carb.
Carb.
Class.
Clap.
Class.
Class.
Fail.
What?
Give it one more time.
Fail.
Bell.
One more time.
Fail.
Bell.
Knees.
Knees.
Good.
Pew.
Q.
Pew.
Q.
Thin.
Zen.
Thin.
Thin.
Ease.
Ease.
Good.
Thin.
Zen.
Good. Okay. Learned something. First that we learned was we missed a lot of words. We only got 30% of the words correct. Okay? Now what that tells me is a nice normal conversational setting. If you can't see her mouth, you're missing 70% of what she says. That is unacceptable. And Tony, you can't look me in the eye and say that doesn't affect you every single day of your life.
I always ask him, what do you say?
Yeah. And how comfortable is that for you? For him to always say, what was that? What was that? What was that?
I
And,
know.
Yeah, okay.
I know.
And that's not fun for you either.
No.
Okay. The other thing that I learned here was that even the words you got right, you sort of struggled with a little bit. It took some effort to get those words.
Right.
So what I see here is that we're really struggling, and we need to see if we can improve upon that a little bit. So all I want you to do is hang tight for a second. I'm going to go ahead and set up a pair of hearing aids for us, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to swap them out, and we're going to, let's try that again.
You've been around the noise like I've been around.
Yeah, I bet.
I had heavy equipment. Oh, God, what I did.
But that doesn't mean we can't help it. And that's the goal, is we really, really need to help what's going on.
Right.
Okay? We need to treat the hearing loss more appropriately. Okay?
I did more in life than an average person did.
That's, and, you know, kudos to you for that. Kudos to you. But again, what's most important here is we really need to make sure that we're treating your hearing loss. No matter how it happened, we need to make sure we're treating it the best we can.
I can't stand a lot of noise, to be honest with you.
Right. And that's what we're going to, one of the most important things here is that we start you off and train your brain to hear the sound appropriately, okay? And so what I usually do is, and I'm going to explain it to you here in just a second, okay? All right, what I want you to do is go ahead and take those guys out, okay? Now, when I put these in, let me put these over here for us. When I put these in, it's going to feel a little bit different. It's going to feel a little more snug, okay? It's the same style of hearing aid. It's just going to feel a smidgen different, okay? The other thing you're going to notice is right now they're not turned on, okay? That's all right. I'm going to turn it on in just a second, okay? All right, so it does feel a little different, not substantially so, okay? But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. It's thinking about it. There we go. Okay. So you're unmuted, okay? Now, right now, you're at roughly 37% of your prescription. With almost all of my patients, this is where I start you, okay? Because your brain hasn't heard the way it's supposed to in a long, long time. So when I just throw sound at you, the brain can go, oh my gosh, what is that, okay? And so we need to help the brain to adjust. And so more often than not, I'm going to start my patients at about this level.
That's low.
It is low. And I'm going to start you, and I'm going to leave you there for about 2 weeks. Now, with you, I may not start you there, okay? But I want you to adapt. And so after about 2 weeks, I take you up a tad. And this is likely where I would start you. This is about 67% of your prescription. Oh, hold on. Let's think about it. There we go. This is about 67% of the prescription, okay? This is a good starting off point for you.
Seems like I'm hearing you better on this ear than this one.
Okay, and what we would do is we'd certainly go ahead and try to balance you out, okay? So let's look at that a little bit. I'll tell you what, let's do that in just a second. Now, after roughly about anywhere between 3 and 5 weeks, I take you up to 100%, and that would be right here. Now with this, sounds are going to be different. Your voice is going to sound different. My voice sounds different than what it did a couple minutes ago. The important thing here is when I test you in just a second, I don't expect you to do 100%, because I did in 5 minutes what I normally do in 3 to 5 weeks, okay? But what I do want to do is I want to test you at this level. Now, real quick, as I talk to you, and I'm looking straight at you, does it feel like I'm coming in balanced, or does it still feel like I'm a little louder on the one side?
That's right.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit more, just a tiny bit, on that left ear, okay? All right, so let me make sure that's, yep, okay, so if I'm talking to you now, does that feel a little
Close.
pretty close? Good. All right, now, what we're going to do is we're going to do that last little bit of a test. We're going to do that test again, okay? And we're going to do that at your prescription, which is where you're at right now, okay? So we're going to do the second list of words, same rules, okay?
Tax,
Tax,
Good.
T,
T,
Oh, close. Get that one again.
T,
T,
chase,
chase,
pot,
pot,
fast,
fax,
Close. Get that one again.
fast,
fa-
cheese,
cheese,
Close. Get that one again.
cheese,
sheet,
feet,
feet,
Good.
this,
fish,
this,
fish,
Get it one more time.
this, space,
face,
space,
face,
list,
list,
All right. So we went from 30% to 1, 2, 3, 4, 50%. And that's about as in line as what we should do. A lot of people look at that and go, gosh, you still missed 50%.
Yeah.
But guess what? That's really good. Given the fact that these are new hearing aids to you, I don't expect you to do perfectly right off the bat. But in addition, we already know that your maximum capability is a little over 60%. So we've really improved.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? We've really improved. Additionally, I don't know if you noticed this, my dear, but the words that you got right were a lot easier to get right.
really?
Yeah, you seemed like you didn't put as much effort into them. Think about that first list. Even the words you got right, you had to struggle, you had to strain, work for it a little bit. With this list, the words you got right weren't as much of a strain. That's a big step in the right direction. So that is a really good sign.
Right.
A really, really good sign that we can do a better job. The question here is how do we do at distance? Okay? Normally, how does he do at distance?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. You feel like you do all right from a
Yeah.
distance from a long way away. Well, we're going to test that now, okay? I want to see how well you do at a longer distance. This also puts sound into context, which is a good thing, okay? So what's going to happen here is you and I are going to go for a little bit of a walk,
Okay.
And we're going to ask you some questions, okay? You're going to stay put. And she's going to just ask a question. All you've got to do is answer it. So if she says, do we own a dog? You're going to say yes or no. Okay? All right, so here we go. All right, the first one is, I want you standing right here, Rose. Okay, turn around. Okay, and I want you, can you read that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and ask him that first question.
What did you have?
This is pretty good. You got to see where she's at. Last question.
Can you hear me clearly?
I hear you clearly.
All right, Rose, stay right there. Come here, Tony. I want to show you this. This is amazing.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my.
That's 35 feet.
That's 35 feet easy. Now, if you were at home, where would she be on that? Where, Rose, come on back. Isn't that amazing? Now, Rose,
Yeah.
what would it mean to you for him to hear like that every day?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony, what would you feel? How would you like to hear like that every day?
It'd be good.
Yeah.
All right, come on back. Let's have a seat.
Right.
Tony, you're back where you were. Okay.
Right.
All right, let's tell you what. Tony, let's put you right here. Let's get you out of the sun. I'll put you right there. Okay. All right. And Rose, stay right where you were so the sun's not in your eyes there.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Tony, I'm going to turn you down just a smidgen because I don't want you getting blasted out of your ears here. Okay. Now, does that feel more comfortable than it did? Yeah. Now, here's the thing. what's important is we treat the hearing the way that it needs to be treated. I don't want to knock the VA. The VA does a great job. They provide very high-quality products.
Not the best.
Not the best, but the biggest problem with the VA is they just don't have the manpower to provide the follow-up care.
They got a bunch of greenhorns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So here's the thing, okay? Here's what's most important. We need to treat the hearing loss. That's first and foremost what needs to happen. We need to treat it. We need to keep it active because right now, as you can see, that left ear is dwindling. It's having a hard time. And if I'm going to do the best I can for you, we need to keep you in both hearing aids. And I need to make it comfortable. And what I just found out right now is that we can improve the sound and make it more comfortable. Now, what's more important here is I told you at the very beginning that I came from Lancaster County. I was a regional director for a different company about 6 months ago. Okay. When I came here with a very different perspective on how to do my job, because the last company I worked for approached things very differently. Here at Hearing Unlimited, we focus on treatment, not just throwing hearing aids at people.
Right.
Okay, we want to provide the comfort. We want to provide the appropriate treatment. As a result, one of the things that we provide is this guy right here, and this is probably the main reason why I came to Hearing Unlimited. It's our lifetime customer service guarantee. And what that basically means is this: we're going to take the burden off of you. We know that we can treat you, but we'll rely on a tool. We rely on a piece of equipment, and that piece of equipment doesn't work for everybody. And so the first thing that we offer our patients is a no-worry policy. In the first 30 to 45 days, if you don't like the hearing aids or they're not providing the benefit that you think they should, we take them back, and you get 100% of your money back. Okay?
I can't afford to buy nothing now.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. What I want you to understand is that we can do well for you. Okay, and that we're going to take really, really good care of you.
Right.
Okay. The next thing is we see you on a regular basis. We see you every 3 months to make sure that the hearing aids are clean, and make sure they're working properly, make sure they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing. Okay.
Right.
The last thing that we do for you is we test you every year because we need to track this. We need to make sure this is doing what it's supposed to be doing. Okay. Now, the reality here is the biggest problem we have for you, Tony, is that right now these guys just aren't working. They're not doing the job for you. They should be, but they're not.
Right.
Okay. The reality here is we've got to do better. We've got to place a value on this that extends beyond just the financial constraints. We need to look at it from, gosh, this is a medical issue, and I need to take care of it. Now, because of the world in which we live, things have changed. And what I mean by that is a year and a half ago, just about 80% of my patients had some type of hearing aid benefit that would from their insurance that would help them take care of the hearing aids. Today, that's not the case. Sadly, today it's roughly 20%. Okay. Now, what that means is a lot of my patients are now utilizing a way to assist through monthly installments. So basically, a financing option to help them do it. If finances are a concern, that's a good thing for a lot of people. The option that we have is a 12-month 0% interest policy. We also have some payment options that extend beyond that. But a lot of people that I have come in, they really like that 12-month 0% interest policy because it's free money over the course of a year. If I were to make a recommendation, I would basically recommend getting you into the hearing aids that you've got in right now. To do that, you'd be basically looking at about $55.95 for the pair, so $5,595 for the pair. And that's about what these would have cost when you got them. Okay?
Yeah.
I didn't pay a penny for it.
No, you didn't pay a penny because the VA picked up on it. But obviously, what we're seeing here is while the VA does a good job and they're doing their best to try to help people, right now we're not helping you the way that it needs to be helping you. Okay? We need to do that. I mean, think about the difference between what we just experienced.
Right now, I'm so far in debt, it's going to be hard for me to do anything.
And again, that's why a lot of people look at that financing as an option.
Right.
Okay? Basically, you know, what you need to do is the perspective really needs to be is, how am I gonna take care of this?
Oh, yeah.
The only thing I know to do is lay low until I see what's going on.
Yeah.
I have, as I told you, I invented something.
Yeah.
So if I get that, I can pay them off cash.
Yeah.
But right now, I can't make no payments. I have no part of that.
Okay. Now, if I were to, this is a tough question, and I apologize for the question in advance, but, and it comes strictly from the fact that I wanna help. I wanna help you to hear better to the best of your ability. If you had a ability to pay any particular amount, then what would you anticipate being able to do right now for me to help you?
I can't answer that.
Can't answer that. Okay, that's all right. I'm not gonna push you on it. I just wanna be able to help. Okay, that's really what I wanna be able to do. Don't let your king. All right, there you go.
When I sold my apartment, I took $100,000 loss, which killed me.
Okay.
And until I get settled down, that's why I invented it. What took me like 13 years to make this. And that other device I make is only gonna be this big. With my units on here, I can give you 220 volts in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Don't make sense, does it?
Nope.
If you teach me how to hear, I can tell you stories about this. But my problem is, I worked heavy equipment all my life. I was in the service, I was in the tanks. Then I went to the anti-aircraft guns. Then I come home, I become a professional barber. Then 10 years later, I run the heavy equipment. I bought a farm. I hauled coal. I had equipment too high, there's 2 trucks. And all that noise, I never paid attention to it.
Right.
And here I am, going on 83 years old. I gotta go through all this we're gonna do.
And the reality is I can only imagine.
I tell you what, I'll be writing a letter today to, what's his name, Rose? Of Israel?
Oh, I
forget his
forget
dad's
his
name.
name.
I'm gonna write him a certified letter and tell him either crap or get off the pot.
Okay.
Because I asked him for $1 million after taxes with 10% royalty worldwide. You see him, give me $500,000 up front and the rest when they're closing. So,
Well, I hope that works out well for you.
That way I can just pay it off cash.
And I guess the one thing that I just want to push to you here and make sure that we understand is.
I understand that.
Well, it's more a matter of, we don't have the luxury, you don't have the luxury of playing the waiting game too long, okay?
Right.
And that's because we don't want those numbers to go down. This is gonna go down no matter what we do, okay? But if these numbers, these percentages.
I'm avoiding much noise as possible right now.
At this point, that's a good thing, but the point is we still have the loss, and we have to treat the loss, okay? It would be like, breaking your arm and saying, well, it doesn't hurt so bad now.
I understand.
Yeah, but the doctor's gonna say, we still need to fix it, okay? The same thing applies.
Right.
Our ears are broken and we still need to fix it.
That's it.
So, you know, I wanna help you. I wanna be able to do all that we can.
I'm gonna need a week.
We understand.
I need a week.
That's okay.
As soon as I get home, we'll write a certified letter.
Okay.
And it'll just like say, crap or get off the pot.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not the kind of guy that's gonna just push and push and push, okay? But I want you to understand the importance here, okay?
I understand. But I'm not gonna worry myself to death, because she has chronic leukemia.
Okay.
Her medicine's $80 a day, plus you take that times 7 times 4.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna get. Plus, when she needs a booster shot, that's $2,100. You don't have that co-payment, you're done.
Yeah.
So you just gotta see what the
Well,
money is too.
just, the other option that you have here is simply this. We have that 30 days, okay? The best way that we can do it is just, and this is just for your knowledge, okay? Basically, it works like this. In order to order the hearing aids, we take a deposit. Once the hearing aids come in, the remainder is due.
Right.
Now, what I would be willing to do is basically say, listen, let's get you home, let's get them ordered, you just leave a deposit with me. That gives us the 2 weeks.
I don't have enough money for deposit.
Can't have enough, okay. That's all right,
Just
all right.
lay low for a week.
All right. So what I will do is this is what I'm gonna do for us. What I wanna do is I wanna set an appointment, for you to come back. Independent of whether we decide to move forward or not, I wanna set an appointment to come back. There's some other things that we may be able to work out. I may be able to contact the VA and get permission to work with these. There's a couple things that we may be able to do to help, but I want to be able to provide you the help that you need, okay? So what I'd love for you to do is this will give you the time to think, and this will give us an opportunity to see whether or not we can improve things here for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and shut these down here. Well, not shut them down. Go ahead and leave them in for a minute. Okay. And all I want to do is go ahead and set up what we call it's just a Q&A appointment. It's basically for you to come in and say, yep, I'm ready to go, or all right, let's what are my other options here, and answer any questions that you might have. Okay. So let's do that. And
maybe I'll just give him a call, bro.
Right.
That was his name. From Israel.
Don't worry about it.
All right. So let's see here. Let's give you. I'm going to give you 2 weeks. Okay. That'll give you plenty of time to look at things. Would you guys be able to return on Thursday, the 26th at 3 o'clock?
I think so.
All right. So I'll give you a card for that.
Okay.
Okay.
She makes all the decisions. I don't make nothing.
What do you think about this, Rose?
Oh, I agree with you, everything you said, you know. Where if he can hear better and it's going to help him out, you know, it'll help me out too, you know.
Okay. So all we got to do is get the finances squared away.
Right.
Okay. Discuss options and determine possibility of...
Yeah, the weather has been behind us here for a while, and now maybe things are looking, you know, a little better now, where we can get things going for us.
The nice thing is the next appointment won't be nearly as long. Okay, it'll be about a
Right.
half-hour appointment if that. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Let me write this down.
Okay.
So that's going to be on March 26th. And that'll be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay. Now remember, keep this appointment because there's other ways that we can potentially help, especially VA
Right.
patients. Okay.
Okay.
I give her all everything.
Okay.
No, go ahead and keep talking. I'm just going to disconnect you here.
She makes all my decisions. But
Yeah. Right.
Oh, that's what I do. I do it all day, every day. All right. Now, Tony, what I'm going to really, really encourage you to do is keep these in your ears, both of them, if you can. Okay. Try to just push and get used to having it in there. Okay. Can you do that for me in the meantime?
No problem.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah.
All right. There you go. How does that feel? It's okay? All right.
The only time he doesn't wear them is like if he's on his tractor, you
Okay.
know.
Okay.
And, you know, where he has a little piece of the grass to cut, and because he don't want to lose them or,
Right.
you know.
Those other ones I lost that one I found it.
Yeah.
Those ones that don't have a thing around here in your ear. I found it by the car one. Couldn't believe it.
That's it.
All right. Where are you from?
I was born in southern Utah, but I moved to Carlisle when I was 6.
Carlisle, PA.
Yeah.
Her sister lived there in
Yeah.
Boiling Springs.
In Boiling Springs, okay.
Yeah. Very beautiful
What was her name?
Juvenile.
No, okay. My dad saw a lot. My dad was a physical therapist. And he saw a lot of patients from that.
He
area.
worked at T&D, was the head electrician at PVG.
Yeah, well, they both died now, so.
Okay.
Oh, I like Carlisle, going through that tunnel, like going to another world.
Yeah.
I had a big Cadillac, I went around it.
They lived on a beautiful place. A lot of beautiful homes.
Well, a lot of Boiling Springs is very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
They used to feed the ducks down there, and water coming out of the ground, and little lake there.
Oh, we loved going out there. I said I miss her, 'cause we miss going out there.
Well, you can always go out for the, what is it, for the car show.
Yeah, I know this.
Oh, yeah.
The guy that inspects my car, he's about 2 acres or 3 acres.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He has about 4 antique cars.
Well, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
Nice.
All right. Okay, there's his test, what we did today, and there's an article in there on, it's basically the latest study on hearing loss. I recommend that you read it, okay? Outside of that, kids, I just want to stress that we just need to take care of you, okay?
I'm gonna make a phone, I'm gonna call him
All
up today.
right.
I have to call Israel.
Yeah.
In fact, I have his number on this thing here. I saw him, and I went to tell him to quit spragging his feet. Tell the truth. Now, this device is 20 by 20 by 16. And I have 6 outlets on the plugs on it. There's only no electricity to start up, just a battery.
So how does it work? How does it generate the electricity? Is it more of a battery, or does it generate power?
It generates power through a battery. It starts off with a battery to get the momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Once I get 2,500 RPMs, your car runs 1,000 RPMs of producing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna kick it up another 1,000. It's like in the garage today. It said some more little things. It's hard for me to explain to you what I do. Are you familiar with your fan blade?
Yeah.
On your car, how it spin around?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this thing is set up, when I got it, you touch the pin, it'll rip your fingers off.
Okay.
It runs by air. It's loud.
Yeah.
But I'll cut it down, I can cut it down. It's hard for me to explain what I do.
No, that's okay. That's okay. And if I were you, I'd probably be hesitant to explain everything that you do.
No, it don't scare me, because it takes a lot. Well, I'll get your cane on.
I'll get it.
I started 13 years ago.
That's all right.
But every time I look at stuff, I study it, just like that little ear thing you have.
Mm-hmm.
I have another one.
Oops, I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's me doing the dirty work. I sort of take care of our watch her.
Well, that's your job.
60 years.
Congratulations.